What's up, Castle Clash? This is Haley's World, and I'm here just to bring you a little bit of arena action, top 100 arena action, as well as a challenge that someone in a chat group that I'm a part of, an arena group I'm part of, has actually started up. So I had 5 arena runs. I just wanted to do those last 5 runs, and then I have one more. So I'll do one more run, and get back up into the 70s or whatever, but right now I'm just lingering between, I can get like back into the 50s and then drop back down to like the 80s, 90s, and then when I woke up this morning I actually touched the hundreds for like the first time in 4 days, and it just, and I have 4 or 5 revitalized Aries, and I'm able to, get up that, that high, and I have to pass over quite a few 5/5 revitalized Aries that certain people have that have no place being that high in the arena. It's just leave it to IGG to make, to have all these people spend all sorts of money and put in all sorts of hard work, not only to get the 5/5 revitalizes on these other heroes, but to build up the high skill levels through dungeon refreshes and just putting in the time and the money and the work it takes to get there. And they just took a big dump on all of it with Aries, and it seems like even once you get him, which it seems like for most of the older players that have put a lot more time and money in, it's even harder for them to get him to begin with. But then when they do give him to them, there's a few of those players that just, have always seemed to have been lucky and can roll the 5/5 revitalize for, relatively cheap. And then, those players were just able to own the top 10, lately in the arena. It doesn't mean that they're actually, that much better than the other players, because they're really not. But they just, were lucky enough to get that ability that quickly. But then you have players that have no place being up there that got that ability so, with, maybe they rolled, $10 worth of gems and they got it. You have other players rolling over $1,000 worth of gems and can't get it. So, IGG says they don't, rig the odds against people, but from a business point of view, you got a new and upcoming player, you throw him a bone, you give him the 5/5 revitalize on this extremely overpowered hero. He gets a big giant inflated ego because, some of these people are like Marquise, might titles, and, they're climbing in the top 100 in the arena, hitting like, I remember I broke the top 100 when I was a Duke, and I actually made it to like 67, and that's something I was really proud of because, I was battling all Archdukes and Grand Dukes and winning. And it was just because I put a lot of time into my hero's skill levels and whatnot. But you got these people with, full 8-star squad teams and, low might rankings, and they got lucky and got this one talent, and now they're in the top 20 in the arena. So really it's just a joke, that the arena is no longer a gauge of like, okay, I built, it's really just a joke. It's like, it's like you probably can't even, farm HBMJ or beat Pumpkin Duke on level 12, but yet you're in the top 20 in the arena or something. So it essentially turned the arena, which was the big cash cow for IGG, and it turned it into a joke. And now a lot of the, former top players aren't falling for it this time. They know that, okay, IGG's gonna, manipulate the odds on your account so that, it's gonna cost you like $5,000 to get that 5/5 revite, if you want to take your place, back on the top of the throne. And they're just saying no, F you, IGG, I'm not giving you that money. Give it to these newer players, throw them a bone, because when you bring out the next ridiculously OP arena hero, overpowered arena hero that's going to trump Ares, then you know what they're going to do? Then the new batch of up-and-coming players, and hopefully those people will have, gotten significant warning by then, and they won't fall into the trap. But the people who are high and mighty now, or at least think they are, well, when the next OP, overpowered hero comes out, those people are, going to pay through the nose if they want to stay in the top of the arena. Whether they get the hero they need easily or not, the talent they need is going to probably cost them thousands. And, it's just convenient that, when one hero that you finally get, you can then get his talent real fast and real easy, and it gives you a taste of that success. But then they come out with another one that trumps everybody, and you might even get him easily. But in order to stay up there, where you work so hard to get and to continue to advance, you need to pay out the ass to do so. That's IGG's business model. But anyways, enough of that. Let me just show you, these are my last 3 arena matches, then I'll run one more. And then after that, what we're doing is a 10K challenge. There's a whole bunch of us that were in my arena group, which is the top 100 arena group. And it's all players that are constantly in the top 100 in the arena, top 50, top whatever in the arena, And what we're gonna do is, it's basically not worth the grind anymore. For me to stay between 80 and even 50, sometimes in the 40s in the arena, is such a grind right now. Like, you gotta switch your defense constantly, and you can almost never let your battle chances get, if they get full, you need to, if you want to, it's okay to wait for them to get full, but you need to be on it the second they get full. You cannot be wasting any time. You just can't. Because behind me, there's a mountain of scrubs, with a 5/5 revitalized Ares that can beat me. Some of them I'll battle, and they get their Ares proc off first. Sometimes they even get their Minotaur proc off first as well when we have a same lane collision, and then I still beat them. So how pathetic is that on their part? But anyways, let's just watch these last 3 battles, and then I'll do one more. Let's see. This was against X Prime X, who was always up there in the top. He's a strong player. I get my Minotaur proc, and then my Ares, and that's the end of that. And then I challenged Jump, who I've battled many times in the arena. Also, he had almost a full Revite team with a really strong dragon, and he's always a good player too in the arena. And he's suffering the same way I am. Well, maybe he's suffering a little worse. I don't think he has Ares or a Revite 5 Minnow or a Revite 5 Dragon, but still, nonetheless. And then we have, this. I'll even admit, could I have beaten Eddie Lau before? Yeah, with the right lane choice and my minnow out front, sure. But I think he has a 3/5 Revite Ares, and that really hurts. And since Ares came out, and me just having 4/5, at least on offense, I think I've beaten him 7 out of 8 times. And in my time watching the game, at least, in my time, my almost 7 months of playing and always looking at the rankings, he was the one player that I always saw taking number 1 all the time. So in my mind, in my opinion, in the 7 months that I played this game, that was the greatest arena player in all of Castle Clash. Because his name was never, ever, mentioned or suspected of doing anything, underhand, with all that hacking stuff that recently, his name was never mentioned with any of that, and you just always saw him, not just lingering in the top 10 like you would see a lot of people. You always saw him at number 1. And I think he's another one that has obviously put a lot of money and a lot of time into this game. And yes, he did get Ares. Yes, he did probably roll that 3-5 revitalized pretty quickly. He probably pumped a decent amount more money into trying to get a 5-5. And then when they just, essentially were refusing to give it to him, because it wouldn't surprise me at all if there's a set dollar amount that, a player like that would have to spend just before IGG would even make it so that he could possibly roll a 5-5 revitalize. It really wouldn't surprise me at all if certain accounts, like perhaps maybe mine, Eddie Lau's, maybe one in particular, that, they think he, want to be number 1 so bad that we're just going to put in a, we're going to essentially ban his account from rolling a 5-5 revitalize. We're going to give him Ares, but he knows he needs a 5-5 revite to get back up to number 1. And, just picking a number out of my head, say, well, we're not going to give it to him until he spends $3,000, rolling his talent. And then if he hits that amount, that doesn't mean we're just going to give it to him. It means that we're going to then, add that back to the, the pool of potential things you could roll. It wouldn't surprise me at all if that's how they do business. But anyways, all right, let's just go ahead and do one more, just for the heck of it. See how I do. And then I'll show you how I'm going to set up my defense to drop. I'm going to drop farther than I've been in, longer than I can remember, actually. I'm going to drop to over 10,000 in the arena. And so are quite a few others. And then the challenge is, we're going to see who can climb back up the fastest. So there you go. It looks like I was actually defeated right before that, and I didn't see it. How did this guy beat me? It looks like he took the middle just like I did to the last guy I faced, and yeah, he's one of the newest members to the Revite 5 the Revite 5 Ares Club. As you can see, his Ares, my Minotaur would have beaten his, but his Ares, has, the range that Ares has is just, disgraceful, really, that they would even put something out like that. A hero with that much range, a hero that is basically as effective in the arena as Minotaur was when he came out, and, a hero whose effect is basically as powerful as Multanica, except that, it's a global proc, and he has the most range in the game. His range is almost like double that of Multanica. So I mean, if you are going against a Revite 5 Ares, none of your heroes can hit before he procs. No matter where he is in the pad, where your guys are, he will proc before any of your heroes get a single attack off. And that's just the way it is. If you run a collision and you're running a Revite 5 Dragon, you just gotta, they don't have one, you gotta hope that depending on its skill level, even if it's an 8 of 9 and it targets the max targets, which is 8, at that point you just got to hope that it does not target your dragon. Because if you have a high enough skill level dragon, and he's, a high enough level dragon, that proc could slow them down to the point where then, when you finally are able to get your Ares proc off, that's basically going to happen right before he gets his second one, his second proc, and then you then deflated all that momentum he built up, and then your guys are now all ready to go, and then you can still win. That's one of the very few ways. Is that either maybe he doesn't target your Ares and you have a higher skill level Ares, or he doesn't target your Multanica and you have a high skill level Multanica, and in an open lane you're almost a 4/5, 3/5, Revite Ares or just no Ares at all against a Revite 5 Ares in an open lane, you lose. That's it. You're done. You're done. And that's really sad that IGG did that, at least with Multanica. I mean, with Minotaur, there was still some strategy, because if you ran a Minotaur out front, you could run a Revite Thunder God out front, and it didn't always work out the way it should, but Thunder God had, a half a space more range than Minotaur, and technically should have proc first every time. So you had that option. And then with Multanica, with a Revite 5 and a high skill level, and you're running the same lane, at least before the creation of Ares, who can just stop Multanica in his tracks, even though Multanica's ranged, it's like, Ares, can basically attack from, can attack the crystal from the other side of the arena almost, but he can stop that Multanica in his tracks. But before Ares, at least with Multanica, there was still options involved. You could run open lane against him. If he wasn't Revite 5, then you could also run a Revite 5 Thunder God into him and get that off before Multanica procs, and then get your Minotaur proc off also, and your Pumpkin Duke, and all that. And then, once his Multanica procced at that point, you were usually so far, you'd usually gotten such an advantage on them that you could not lose at that point. So, that's basically how that worked. Alright, but now what I'm going to do here is, you're going to see something crazy, even though I'm ranked 81 in the arena right now. I am going to change my defense. And I am going to put, it looks like, one single angel on defense. That is it. I am at 81 right now in the arena. And I am going to drop to 10,000 in the arena. I don't know how long it's going to take, but if you see my name, if you see Haley's World in the arena, and you're looking to grab a win because you want 40 honor badges, and hey, maybe you're even near the a pay grade, then attack me, because all I'm going to have is a level 80 angel in the middle lane, and take your free win and help me to knock myself down a few levels. I'm just going to go in now. I want to go into the line chat. I want to see where we're at here, because right now it looks like we actually have 12 people that are going to do this. And yes, actually, I did forget to take my screenshot of my defense. So I'll do that right now, actually, because that's what we agreed upon. Make sure that's ready. All right. And actually, the crazy part is, I mean, I was so gung-ho and excited over the arena for so long, and breaking the top 100 was such a big deal. Then breaking the top 50 was huge for me. And then, honestly, I mean, I made it up to 33. But a lot of it was having a Revite 4 Ares, back when a lot of people didn't even have him, because I got him, maybe 20 minutes after he was released, and then the next day I had the Revite 4 and he was, 7 stars. So I almost didn't even feel any sort of pride about it because of the way it happened, and that's unfortunate by IGG. So I'm going to go ahead and post my new defense. And I'll just show, some of the people that are doing this. I did ask them if they minded if I put said their names. They said they did not mind, which is good. You've got, let's see here. We have Poliv, who is, always up there in the arena. JPP, P is his in-game name. He's also up there all the time. World P's also a top 100. Thogax 200 to 100, probably even lower sometimes. Leo, I think, same thing. Even Sean 197804, who rather quickly got a Revite 5 Ares, and was just a powerful player to begin with already. So he's one of those players that up there and that was in the top 10, that was in my arena group, and that I didn't just root for because he was in my arena group, but I would root for him because he'd been up there before. He put in the hard work, and those newcomers that honestly don't deserve to be up there, I wanted him to stomp them out on a regular basis. Then you've got Hirsch, who many of you know of. He does a lot of YouTube videos. I've seen him be way up in there in the arena also. He's all, these are all people that are, even I'm assuming Sean with the Revite 5 Ares is just beyond frustrated with it. Then you've got Terry Z24, also, very powerful top arena player. He's got heroes with 9 of 9 skills, and, same thing. IGG just said, hey, thanks for all the money you spent, thanks for all the hard work you put into those 9 of 9 skills. But, we're just going to give, a bunch of these bums, Ares, which is really not even a big deal to get him, but we're just going to, let them get the Revite 5, at a very cheap cost. And, then you'll never have a chance to beat them. You've got Aragorn 77, another top arena player. Darren Dota, also up there in the arena, and Ray the Great. So these are all, people that have spent time in the top 100. I think all people that spent time in the top 100 before Ares, and maybe even before, Multanica and Minotaur, back when there was actually some real strategy involved. But they were definitely there before Ares, when there still was some strategy left. Now Ares, there's no strategy left. And that's really sad. So, right now we're at 14. I think we're at 14 people, it looks like. Oh no, 12 of us. Okay. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna drop. Everyone's gonna drop as fast as possible, really, down to when they get to 10,000, or just over 10,000, and let's see I wonder if I dropped it all yet. The drop shouldn't happen fast because these pictures that show up here that's always one of the heroes they have in their lineup. Once you get towards, even in the top couple thousand in the arena, the top, the top tens of thousands, maybe you could even say, you're going to see that Spirit Mage picture a lot. You're going to see the Druid picture. You're going to see the Reaper picture. I don't think they have an Ares picture yet, actually. No, they definitely don't, because I haven't seen it. I know they have the Multanica one. But, yeah, my picture would be green, right? The green would be an angel. So if you see that, especially at higher levels like this, that always means the person is trying to drop. So if you want a free win, that's not just some random avatar. That means they have that hero in their lineup. Then it usually means that's their only hero they have on defense. So if you want a free win, hit them. Alright, next thing for me to do is I'm going to, after I finish this up, I'm going to let my arena group know that what I'm doing. That way they're not sitting there protecting, my backside. That way they just hit me and help me drop, because I got to get down quickly. Once I've gotten past, 300, where I have lots of, arena group members, then I should be able to drop the rest of the way pretty quickly. So we'll see how it goes. And I'm looking forward to when the challenge actually begins, and all 12 of us, and I think, we're taking people into this challenge all the way up until tonight, and then it's going to end for new people to come into it. And then once we all do get down over 10,000, it's going to be pretty exciting, I think, to see which one of us makes it. And we were either going to do 100 or 150, and I think we decided on 150 to see who makes it, back above 150 in the arena. So for once, it's actually adding some excitement to the arena. See who out of the dozen, or probably by the time it's over, I'm hoping it would be like 15 to 20 people. But who out of us actually makes it back into the top 150? I know there's going to be people, ranked 10, 11, 12,000 when we do start to make our climb again, that are probably going to watch the replays, and they're probably just going to be like, wow, what is this guy doing down here? You're going to have, full Revite, full 9-star, full Revite, very high skill level teams just, tearing a warpath through those rankings, but it should be fun either way. And also, I have a couple things that I've been thinking about, I want to try to experiment with. Due to the new talent system, I actually put a 5/5 revive on my Atlanacor, and I've been, leveling him up, almost soon to be getting ready to become an 8-star hero. I have my 5/5 Berserk Succubus. I've been leveling her up. I'm trying to see if I can run some sort of combination of them with, where if they're running bottom lane, and maybe I can run that Atlanacor bottom, with some other guys. Hope that Atlanacor put him out front, let him take aggro, and then die, and then everyone else get targeted, but him pop tap back to life, and then he only has to swing once to proc, and maybe he can make their whole team commit suicide, and even if not, he can slow them down, and damage them enough and slow them down enough that my Berserk Succubus with a decent skill level might just be able to finish the crystal. So, just a couple things I'm toying around with, but, it might give me a chance to try those out. Anyways, finally something interesting, sitting at 81 in the arena now and getting ready